Right now, while you hesitate, while you reopen the same decision for the 10th time, while you wait for clarity to feel comfortable, someone less skilled than you is moving, speaking, claiming space, taking the opportunity that could have been yours. And the reason is not talent, not intelligence, not even luck. It is something far more brutal and far more controllable. They project certainty, and the human mind is addicted to certainty, the way a starving body is addicted to sugar, because certainty feels like safety, and safety is what the crowd worships. Not truth, not depth, not merit. The world does not bow to what is correct. It bows to what is convinced, and this is the trap you were never warned about. If you are complex, if you can see 10 outcomes where other people see 1, you become vulnerable to a quiet form of paralysis that masquerades as intelligence. You call it thinking. You call it being responsible. You call it waiting for the right moment. But if we strip the poetry away, what it really is fear wearing a suit. And fear is loyal to one thing only, keeping you small. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He watched men with shallow minds move crowds like puppets, not because they were wise, but because they were decisive, because they spoke as if the universe owed them agreement, and the herd, hypnotized by conviction, followed, and meanwhile the ones with actual depth remained in the corner, polishing their thoughts like a blade they never drew. And you already know this feeling. You have lived it. You've watched mediocrity get rewarded while you stayed silent, not because you had nothing to say, but because you had too much. Too many angles, too many caveats, too many moral concerns, too much awareness of consequences. And that awareness, if it is not disciplined, becomes a prison. So let's name the real enemy, not the boss, not the market, not your competition. The enemy is the obedient version of you, the inner servant, the part of you trained to request permission before existing, the part of you that scans the room for approval, that softens every statement with maybe, that apologizes before it speaks, that over-explains so nobody gets uncomfortable. That version is not your soul, it is your conditioning. It was created, not born. It was built in childhood in environments where love was transactional, where attention was earned, where mistakes had consequences, where being good was praised and being bold was punished. And over time you learned a dangerous equation: safety equals obedience, belonging equals being easy. And that equation worked when you were powerless, but now it is sabotage, because the adult world does not reward obedience. It exploits it, and here is the uncomfortable truth. People don't follow the most moral person. They follow the person who feels inevitable, who moves as if their decision has already been validated by reality itself. And if that offends you, good. That offense is the first crack in your old programming. Because this is not a motivational speech. Motivation is a sugar rush. It spikes you and abandons you. This is a psychological extraction, a mental coup. Because the moment you understand how certainty functions, you stop begging the world for permission, and you start shaping the room you stand in. And yes, you can call that manipulation if you want, but your life has already been manipulated by fear, by doubt, by the silent servant inside you, by the people who benefit from you staying hesitant. So the question is not whether power exists. The question is whether you will keep giving it away unconsciously. Machiavelli called it virtù, not virtue as morality, but virtue as force, the capacity to act under uncertainty, to move before you feel ready, to create conditions rather than wait for them. And the modern mind hates this because the modern mind worships comfort. The modern mind wants guarantees, but guarantees do not exist. And waiting for them is how your life gets stolen, politely, one delayed decision at a time. And the most tragic part is that you will call it being careful, while someone else calls it being invisible. So here is the framework you need to tattoo into your nervous system. Certainty is not a feeling. It is a posture. It is a rhythm. It is a set of signals. And signals are what the human animal reads first, before logic, before facts, before your resume. The body reads the body. The tone reads the tone, the timing reads the timing, and if your timing says I'm unsure, the world treats you as optional. If your tone says, I need approval, the world raises the price of respect, and if your posture says, I'm waiting, the world steps over you like you're part of the furniture. This is not cruelty, it is efficiency. The psyche is lazy, it loves shortcuts, and uncertainty looks like risk, and risk is avoided. So the first key is this: move like you own the room, not with arrogance, not with performance, but with unhurried control, because haste is the body language of servitude. Haste says, someone else owns my time, and the powerful do not run unless they are hunting. Slow down, not dramatically, not theatrically, just enough that your movements stop signaling scarcity, stop collapsing your shoulders, stop folding inward, stop shrinking your presence as if space belongs to others, because space belongs to whoever claims it without apology. And when you sit, sit like you have a right to be there. When you look like you are evaluating the room, not begging it to accept you. And this is not for them. This is for your own biology. You are reprogramming your nervous system, teaching your body that you are not here to negotiate your existence. Then the second key: speak like your words cannot be negotiated. Most people speak in a way that secretly asks permission. They add disclaimers, they soften edges, they laugh at their own statements as if to say, please don't punish me, and the listener reads that and concludes, unconsciously, this person does not fully believe themselves, so why should I? Remove the filler, remove the apology, remove the endless context, say the sentence, let it land, and then stop, because silence after a strong statement is a blade. It forces others to deal with the weight of your certainty, and yes, it will make some people uncomfortable. Good. Discomfort is often the first sign you are no longer manageable. The third key is the one that will expose you. Kill the addiction to being understood. The servant inside you wants everyone to know you mean well, wants to explain your intentions, wants to prove you're not a threat. But the more you explain, the cheaper your presence becomes, because explanation is often a confession of weakness in social dynamics. It says, I am afraid of your judgment, and whatever you fear, you hand power to. So practice this. Say less, do more. Let outcomes speak, because results have a language that doesn't require permission. And if someone misinterprets you, let them, because people project anyway. You cannot control their projections, but you can control your boundaries. Which brings us to the fourth key: turn rejection into information. The weak person experiences rejection as a verdict. The strategic person experiences it as data, a clean line that shows you where your value is not recognized, where your energy is wasted, where your presence is underpriced, and once you see that, you stop bleeding for places that cannot hold you. You refine, you upgrade, you move, and then something fascinating happens. The same people who dismissed you will circle back when your gravity increases, because most human loyalty is not moral. It is opportunistic, and if that makes you cynical, it's because you're seeing clearly for the first time, and clarity always feels like betrayal at the beginning. The fifth key: rewrite the story inside your head, because the only rejection that can control you is the rejection that convinces you you were begging, so you must reframe it as selection. You did not lose a place, you filtered it out. You witnessed their judgment and found it insufficient. You allowed the door to close because the room was too small. And the moment you internalize that, your posture changes, your voice changes, your eyes change, because you are no longer asking to be included. You are deciding what deserves access to you. Now the sixth key, and this one separates the disciplined from the reactive. Cultivate calculated indifference, not numbness, not coldness, but control. Because the world constantly tests you. Passive-aggressive comments, subtle disrespect, delayed replies, praise that contains poison. These are probes. They're trying to see if they can move your emotions like a joystick. And the moment you react predictably, you reveal your levers, you give your opponent the map of your nervous system. But when you remain calm, when you do not rush to defend, when you do not scramble to correct their narrative, their weapon fails, and when a weapon fails, the one holding it panics, because they realize they no longer control you, and control is what manipulators crave. So your calm becomes a wall, and walls don't argue. They simply remain. The seventh key: become fluid. Machiavelli respected adaptability because rigidity is death. If you have one personality, one mask, one mode, you become predictable, and predictable is exploitable. Learn to shift. Be warm when warmth builds alliances. Be distant when distance builds respect. Be silent when silence creates mystery. Be direct when directness creates momentum. You are not being fake. You are being strategic, because the world is not a therapy room. It is a battlefield of incentives, and your job is not to be constantly transparent. Your job is to be effective. The eighth key: make others move toward you. The one who chases reveals need, and need is a scent. It signals hunger, and hunger gets exploited. So stop chasing validation, stop chasing responses, stop chasing closure. Create value, create presence, create scarcity, and let gravity do its work. Because scarcity is not a trick, it is a signal of self-possession. It tells the world, my energy is not infinite, and what is not infinite becomes precious. The ninth key: strike at the center, not the noise. In every group, there is a gravity point. A person whose approval shapes the rest. Stop trying to convince the whole crowd. Identify the center, align with it, or neutralize its influence by outperforming it, and you will watch the structure reorganize around you. The 10th key: build in the dark, reveal in the light. Announcing your plans invites sabotage, so let people underestimate you. Let them mislabel you. Let them think you're harmless, because being underestimated is a strategic advantage, and then arrive with results so sudden they have no time to adjust their narrative. Because narratives are weapons too, and if you let others write yours, you will live inside their limits. And the final key, the one that makes all the others work: accept uncertainty as the cost of freedom, because the servant inside you craves certainty. It wants to know it will work. It wants guarantees. It wants approval before action. But freedom requires moving without permission. And if you wait until you feel ready, you will be ready for a life you never lived. So here is the core instruction: simple, brutal, effective. Act before you are comfortable. Speak before you are fully certain. Choose before the fear negotiates you into paralysis, because courage is not the absence of doubt. It is the refusal to obey it. And if you're hearing this and feeling resistance, that is not a sign to stop. It is a sign you have found the chain, because the servant inside you will fight to survive. It will call discipline toxic. It will call power ego. It will call certainty arrogance. Anything to keep you compliant, and the moment you recognize that voice as programming, not identity, you begin the real shift. Not into cruelty, not into tyranny, but into sovereignty, into the ability to decide and remain intact even when someone disapproves, because the deepest form of power is not dominance over others, it is ownership of yourself. And once you own yourself, you stop asking the world to pick you. You start picking your world, and the world, whether it likes it or not, adjusts to the signal you emit. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. It is a myth, invented by fear to keep you safe and small. The moment is now. The war is internal, and the first battle is this: will you keep serving the doubt, or will you finally dethrone it and move like a person who cannot be ignored?